Hello, Northgate Eagles. How are you doing today? Today is Friday, April 3rd, 2020. And you meet again with me, Mrs. Mulder, to review our lesson, our math lesson from Wednesday. On Wednesday, we started with our first kindergarten remote learning lesson. And we were focusing on counting and cardinality, and our learning target was I can count to tell the number of objects. Well, today I'm going to go ahead and review some of the things we cover and teach you a couple of new ideas that you could try at home to continue to practice this skill. In kindergarten, we use one-to-one correspondence counting skill to solve problems by matching sets and comparing numbers amounts. While we practice this one-to-one correspondence counting skill, we also build or practice recalling information and recognition skill. So, what are we going to do today? Well, first, let me tell you about this OTOC memory card game, or the just simply memory card game that we did on Wednesday. Remember these cards? And here we were recognizing the number, we were recognizing the number word, and we were also counting the number of objects to make sure that that number of objects represents or matches correctly the quantity. And we played that game, or I explained a little bit how you could play this game at home. A variation of this game is using actual playing cards. So if you have playing cards at home, you could do the same. You choose 1 through 10. I chose here 2 different colors just for the matching game. Then you will spread them over the table, and again you get to pick one, recognize the number, identify the number, say the number, count the number of objects, and then find another card that matches the card that you chose. You need to remember exactly where they are. That's why it's a memory game, so that you could quickly match them. Today, I'm going to teach you a new game. These new games, 2 different ones. The first one is using color cards. So if you have construction papers or sticky notes, you could do color cards. If not, then you could just use regular paper and then draw something on color. Why using colors? Because with this activity, we not only will practice one-to-one correspondence, we'll also practice sorting and classification skill. So watch me as I lay these cards down on my table. Here is orange, here is black, here is red, and here is purple. I have my cards ready. For this activity, you will also need a collection of objects, crayons, color pencils, markers, anything that you have around. I'm going to use my hair clip collection. There are different colors, and I have enough for this activity. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to sort by color. I'm going to put all my orange clips right here. And notice that as I'm putting them down, I'm touching every one of it, and I'm actually counting. I was counting in my head, but now I'm gonna count loudly so you could hear me. 1, and this is one-to-one correspondence. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, I have a lot of the black clips. And now I'm going to the next color. What color is this? Red. So I'm going to go ahead and put my red clips down. One. What? Only one? Red is my favorite color. How is it that I only have one? And then my next color is purple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get the point, you get the idea. I sorted my clips based on the colors that I was asked to sort by and using the quantity that I have in my collection. As you could see, this activity helped us sort, classify, make groups of, and we did that based on color. Now, how does this apply to one-to-one correspondence? The fact that I was touching each object as I was putting down to find out or determine the quantity of objects that I had in each group, that was practicing one-to-one correspondence. So, for those of you super achievers, you could take this to the next level and you could compare these sets. You could compare these amounts. You could compare these numbers. I have 4 orange clips and I have 15 of the black clips. I have 1 red and I have 6 purple. Which group has more? This group. Which group has less? This group. Which group has the most? The black group. Which group has the least? This group. Which one has more, orange or purple? Purple. How many more purple than orange? 2 more. And in that way, you could continue to use those comparison terms or terminologies so that you could practice different skills within the same game. But again, for one-to-one correspondence, the idea is that you touch the object as you count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 purples, and I know that because I touched every single one of them as I was counting them. So this is a variation of this game or an activity that you could use to practice one-to-one correspondence at home with what you have. There is no need to go out and try to find different things. Just look around the house and see what you could find. If you have Fruit Loops, have your kindergarteners wash their hands very well, put them on a plate or on a dining table placemat, and then they will sort their Fruit Loops by color. They will count them, and then when they're done, they could eat them. Make sure they wash their hands first. Another variation of these games that you could do to practice one-to-one correspondence at home is using an ice cube tray. This one has 12 sections. If you want to be consistent with what we do at school, this will be simulating our 10 frames, but because it has 12, then you could put a piece of tape over it so that the kids don't get confused, or we could just pretend they are not there. So you could use these. You could use a muffin pan, or you could use egg cartons. Just look around the house, anything that you could find. If you do not have any of these and you have some collections of jars, then you could just put jars or put your different bowls where you eat your cereal in the morning, anything where you could count and collect objects. I'm going to use today this ice cube tray. And I'm going to bring this back again so you could see what happens on the table. So here is the ice cube tray. I still need my collection of hair clips. And I also need a rolling dice. If you don't have one, you could make one out of paper, or you could, if you have any handy person around the house, ask them to cut a little cube from a piece of board and then write the numbers or dots on it. And if you do not have this, you could just make cards or use some cards if you have them around the house. So we're going to start with the rolling dice, and the first thing you do is you just shake it and roll it, and then once you get that amount, you touch each dot and you count 1, 2, 3. Now it's time for me to place that number of objects or that amount of objects in my ice tray. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I have that amount of object to match this quantity or this amount of dots on my dice. You put it back and you try again. If you have 2 at home, you could do that. Okay, so here I have, let's try with a bigger number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. I need to show that amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I now have matched this quantity correctly. I have matched this number. This is 5. I have 5 dots and I have 5 objects. That is another way of doing it. For those of you super achievers, kindergarteners, if this is easy for you, then you could turn these ones into tens. Okay, so for example, if this has a 1, then you could put 10 objects out. If it is a 3, then you could put 30 objects out. If this is a 2, you could put 20 objects out. And in that way, you practice counting using one-to-one correspondence, larger numbers. Okay, so another way to practice this same activity, if you don't have the rolling dice, is using the playing cards. So make sure that you shuffle your cards just to make it a little bit more fun, like a real game. Then place your cards upside down and flip a card. Oops, 1. I only have to put 1. Then flip one more. Oh, this one is 10. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, I forgot we were not using these extra ones. 10. I have 10. So how many objects or pictures you see in the playing card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. And some super achievers will say 10 because they know that this number will match this quantity, 10. And how many clips did we put in our ice tray? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. And again, the super achievers might say 10 because they know a 10 frame is 10. 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, 10. If you want to challenge yourself, you could practice counting by twos, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Or again, you could use these ones and turn them into tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. There are many ways that you could practice one-to-one correspondence using the resources that you have available at home. So with that, let's wrap it up. Kindergarteners, what do we work on this week? That's right, you got it. 1-to-1 correspondence. What exactly does that mean? Miss Mulder, what are you saying? You've been talking a lot and I already forgot. Well, let me tell you. All you have to do is count by touching each object to tell how many, to tell the number of objects you counted. Touch, 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 touch. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. And I practice one-to-one correspondence. This is it for today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next week with some fresh ideas and or games to continue to practice this skill at home. Be safe, love you all, and remember, wash your hands. Wash my hands. No germs is my favorite plan. Wash my hands before I eat. Wash my hands after I sneeze. Achoo! Wash my hands. No germs is my favorite plan. See you next week. Bye-bye.